Hey guys, Keel the Quick here, creator of Aegis Online. I just pushed out an update to Steam a moment ago. Some of the content packs in the campaign creator here were quite old. The tabletop items not being tagged, so I updated them, cut down their size, took out some copyrighted music that could have gotten us into trouble. Thanks to Steam, that should all have downloaded for you automatically, but since it's in my thoughts now, I wanted to make a short video to discuss one of the big changes that will be made going forward. It might get complex, but let me see if I can start with a simple explanation. Right now, when you make a campaign, you double-click on a content pack here to add it, and then when you hit the Create Campaign button, after you fill this out over here, all of the miniatures, textures, scripts, music, and more is copied over into a new folder that is your campaign. Sure, these ones over here. These are all the campaigns I have. So I'm going to drastically change that, so instead of copying it all into a new folder, it will just have a reference to the content pack, so it won't need to duplicate that data. So when it needs the items, it will just go to wherever this is on your hard drive, your hard disk, and read it from there, so it won't need to be duplicated. Should have benefits for you, such as a smaller and faster campaign files, less space used on your hard disk, of course, and it will be easier to update and change things. So I'm going to get technical now, but if that was a good enough explanation for you, thank you for watching. Support development through the Patreon link below. See you later. I'm Kill the Quick. Don't die. Now, let's get technical. So right now, each of these content packs is just a directory that has been laid out a certain way. They're on your disk here. You can pop them open, and you can see they're laid out very similar to a campaign file. So this is a campaign file right here. It just has some data in it. Now the idea was in Aegis, you would be able to select multiple packs over here, and then they would cascade together, with each one overriding the previous one, leaving you with a compiled campaign. This right here. If you're familiar with the load order of some mods in other games, it would be similar to that. I thought this system would be faster and the best option going forward, but it's not. Let's consider an example. We'll make a campaign here with 3 packs. We have these are our packages in order. We have our simple scenery, sci-fi, an initiative tracker, and the hero grind prop pack for our heroes. Now under the old method, these would all be put together in the campaign folder right here. So we have all this extra data in here, like all of our tabletop templates and stuff from these packages would be in there. Now if we wanted to update them, we would need to go in here and update every single thing by itself. So all these little files, all these textures, all the scripts, which you can do. You can just kind of copy and paste that type of thing, but it would be much, much easier if we came in here and say, hey, instead of simple scenery sci-fi, we actually want the fantasy pack. And now, next time we load up our campaign, if everything went right, we would have all of our fantasy stuff instead of sci-fi stuff. And that's just a way easier way to update. And then obviously there would be more information in here, like a version number. So like the initiative tracker. If the person made a newer initiative tracker, it'd be initiative tracker version 2. Like that. And now we have our updated thing. It would download it if you don't have it, and generally work better, easier for you. It would be easier to keep the update updated. Now some interesting bonuses with this method are that since each of these would be a little zipped up package as opposed to just files out here in the open, the package doesn't actually need to be in the campaign file. It can be anywhere else, so it can even be back where it was initially downloaded for it to be on your hard drive. So if you had 5 campaigns here, or like me, 10, all with the same information, like they all have that simple scenery fantasy pack in them, instead of having that simple scenery fantasy pack duplicated like 10, 20 times, it's just right here once. It takes up way less space, it's way less stuff to download, especially if you have new players joining. If you have a new player joining your game and they already had this on their thing, when it downloads the information about the campaign, it would be much simpler. It would be, oh, I have it already, so I don't need to download it. I'll just load it up and double check that it's the right version. Nobody messed with it. And it's just referential like that, which is great because ISPs are putting bandwidth limits on internet these days, so transferring less data is always great. Now, there are a couple things that might be less popular. First, this will be so different from how it works now that it will break backward compatibility. Or still in beta, so working to maintain backward compatibility isn't a primary concern. Once it's released, that will be more important, which is why we want to have stuff like this laid down. It's the best way, I think, to handle this type of thing. And second, Aegis Online will have a marketplace. The idea is that on the main menu, the startup page, there'd be a button here, or maybe a panel to the side, like our beta tools thing, that will show you new packages, stuff you might be interested in, stuff you might want, or you can put it away if you don't want to see that. And people can share or sell the content packs they make, and since these instead would be little compressed files, like one of these would just be a zip file. I think I can zip these up right now super simply. Yeah, well, it's going, since those will just be little zip files right there, something like that. They'd be much easier to transfer, much smaller. That's 48 megabytes. That's pretty big. And it will actually lend itself to the DRM style that I will be implementing, because we can simply require it to need a key to open this up. Now, before we go crazy on that, I do want to point out that thanks to our not patented, but I'm taking credit for the idea anyway, Game Night DLC scheme, only one person will need to have purchased a content pack for you to use it. So in that way, it's similar to in real life when you buy some miniatures or you buy the new rule book and you bring it to Game Night. You bring it and you can share it with everybody. Because I don't like splitting the party. I don't like having people get excluded, and I do love free stuff. So there'll probably be plenty of free stuff on that marketplace. But I also do like it when artists get fed for their work or paid. So these are a few of the big changes going forward that will be implemented. And I really think it'll make it a lot easier and much better. And you're here with me during the beta, and I just wanted to make sure that you're aware, that you know what's going on. Thank you for checking out this kind of rambly video that I made. And yeah, thanks for joining the Aegis Online Beta Brigade. I'm Keel the Quick. Thank you for watching. Don't die.